Hey yo, what's happening? What's happening? I appreciate y'all being here, like always. What if I told you that the thing that you are avoiding the most is the very thing that's gonna make you grow once you embrace it? And what is that? That is resistance. Now, resistance is uncomfortable, it's tough, and to be honest, it's the easiest thing to run away from because it's human nature to want to typically take the path of least resistance. That's just human nature. We shrink from doing things that are overly hard and complicated, and we kind of want to live life on easy mode most of the time. But resistance is going to unlock your true potential once you embrace it, right? Think about going to the gym. And if you go to the gym like every day or every time you go to the gym, all you do is lift the same weights, like the same weights. You never increase the weights, the heaviness of the weights. If you resistance training, you never increase the weights on that. If you can go to the gym for a year straight, in a year of time from now, you're still gonna look the same because you didn't increase the weights. Your muscles aren't gonna grow. That's what I'm trying to say. And so it's the same thing with life. It's the same thing with your mindset. It's the same thing with your relationships. It's the same thing with your job, your career. You have to step into that resistance. You have to move towards the resistance, right? You know, resistance isn't a wall. It's like you got to look at it kind of like a doorway that you need to go through to get to the other side and get what you want. You think about anybody who's ever achieved something worthwhile. Anybody. It doesn't have to be a celebrity or a athlete, or just think about anybody. It could be somebody you know. If they achieved anything that they wanted to achieve or achieved anything worthwhile, they went through some type of resistance 9 times out of 10. You know, it may be some exceptions to that, like, you know, a nepo baby or something, but for the most part, you face resistance. That's just the human way of life. It's like a video game, right? If you played a video game and shit was like super easy, might be fun for a little while, but after a while, it's gonna get boring, and that's just how life is. You got to go through them challenges. That's what makes life memorable and exciting. That's what builds the experiences, and that's what shapes you. Like it's not to, the struggle isn't to stop you, it's to shape you. You know, that's how you grow. You got to go through something to grow through something, right? And so 2 things happen when you face the resistance. One, you see what you're made out of, right? You see what your true potential is. You see what you're capable of. And 2, you build a resilience. And over time, that resilience shows you that you can face even greater challenges down the line. You know, so you're just building yourself up little by little. Every time you choose resistance over comfort, you are leveling yourself up. You start to rewire your mind and your brain for success. And you start to prove to yourself that you are capable of doing difficult tasks, difficult things. And so how do you start? Well, how do you start on a daily basis to move towards resistance? Well, you got to start simple, right? It's a simple thing. You got to seek it out. You got to seek out resistance. You got to stop avoiding the hard, difficult things. It's like say for instance, if you're trying to learn to play the piano or the keyboard, you're going to start out learning where to place your fingers, right? And then you're going to learn the scales. And once you get that, what a lot of people do is they tend to stay on that. They start to learn the scales and they'll come and practice and play the scales every day and the fingering every day. And they just stay right there and they don't move to the next step. And because it feels good, it's easy and it feels good. But if you want to really learn how to play the keyboard, you got to continuously move up and learn where you're weak. You got to attack where you're weak at. So you can't just stay on the scales. You got to what's next? You got to learn chords. You got to learn progressions, and you got to, got to learn how to play songs. And so a lot of people just stay at the beginner stages when they learning something new. So you got to seek out your weaknesses in order to get better. You got to go through that resistance. It's always going to be a learning curve when you're trying to learn something new. It's always going to be a learning curve when you are experiencing something new, when you're going through a new experience. But you got to lean into that. Anytime you want to grow, you got to lean into it. You can't shrink at the thought of difficulty. Lean into it. right? You know, you got to, like, growth isn't honed in your comfort zone. You know, it's forged in adversity. You got to go through that adversity. You got to go through that resistance in order to get better and to grow and become the person that you want to be, to acquire the things that you want. The resistance is there for a reason, man. It's not to stop you, it's to shape you. So here's the challenge I have for you, man. Identify 1 or 2 areas in your life that you've been avoiding resistance for whatever reason, and start to lean into it. Go towards it little by little. You know, you got to be honest with yourself and figure out where your weaknesses lie, and then you start to attack them. And that's the only way you're going to grow. You know, you got to be committed to it. So let's grow together. You know, remember, the struggle isn't there to stop you. It's there to shape you, right? So lean into it. Don't run away from it. Resistance is there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Without it, life will be boring, man. If you could learn, like, just think about that. Like, it would be boring to live if everything was easy. If you never have no variety in your life. If everything was easy, if everything came easy, it wouldn't be worth having. And so lean into the resistance, lean into the struggle a little bit. That's where the fulfillment comes, like the purpose comes, overcoming those things, right? You know if you really knew what you were capable of, you would lean into what. You would lean into the struggle. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. A nice, short, sweet video. I appreciate y'all being. As always, it's art versus arteria, and it's you versus you. So do what you got to do to make your life the best you can make it. Until next time, peace, love. I'm out.